You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. And in today's video, we're going to go position by position. And we're going to get you caught up on what the depth charts look like for the New York Giants following the 2024 NFL Draft. Joe Schoen made 6 picks. I don't know why I'm holding up 4. 6 picks in the NFL Draft, and we're going to show you where they stack up on this depth chart. But first, I need to make sure everybody watching today's show is following me over on social media and specifically on Instagram. I have launched a brand new Instagram where I'm posting content for the New York Giants as well as the New York Knicks every single day. So if you're looking for that on your IG feed, hit me up over there at @MarshallGreen_. Let's start with offense. We'll close the show going position by position on defense. The quarterback depth chart is as follows. Daniel Jones, I believe, is going to be the starter because Joe Schoen says the expectation is for Daniel Jones to be the starter. If he's healthy, I think he will play game 1. Drew Lock is your QB2 after you gave him $5 million this offseason. And Tommy Cutlett's still sitting in there at the QB3 spot. I'm expecting Cutlets to be on the practice squad and be one of those guys that gets activated on game days. Is Daniel Jones, though, ready to really accept this is his last chance? And if he doesn't get it done this year, he's not going to be on this team next year. You look at what he's done over the past 4 years, and there are so many outside factors that contribute to the numbers on screen. I know that. Everyone knows I don't love Daniel Jones, and I don't think he is the franchise quarterback that the Giants need. But I understand that he has had a lot of things not go his way, like multiple head coaches and multiple offensive coordinators and terrible offensive line after terrible offensive line and a lack of playmakers on the outside. But you know what? It's year 6 at this point, and usually quarterbacks don't get 6 years, and he's got that this year, and it's really his last chance. If he does not play at a high level, he is going to be cut by the New York Giants. I believe he will be the starting quarterback, but with that injury guarantee in his contract, the question is, how long do the Giants let him play into the season if potentially the Giants' record goes by the wayside? For instance, let's say by week 10, the Giants are 3-7, or I guess 3-6 at that point. Do they then bench Daniel Jones so they can make sure he stays healthy and he can pass that physical and they can then move on from him? And then a guy like Drew Lock slides in. I don't think the Giants just signed Drew Lock for him to just be a guy that holds the clipboard unless Daniel Jones plays really well. I think there will be a QB competition because Drew Lock's going to get snaps with the first offense this offseason. Jones is going to miss some practices. So as he rehabs, Lock will get some looks with the first team, and there will be some sort of a competition. You look at some of the differences and some advanced numbers for Daniel Jones and Drew Lock. Much different quarterbacks. Jones, really conservative, likes to take what's in front of him, but I also think he takes way too many sacks, and that's shown in the stat at the bottom, the pressure to sack percentage and average time to throw. The average pressure turns to a sack 19.2% of the time for Daniel Jones, whereas it is just 13.2% for Drew Lock. So I think he does a better job of getting the ball out. I also think he attacks the field downfield better. That gets showed in the average depth of target at 9.2 for Lock compared to 7.5 for Daniel Jones. And also the big-time throw percentage, 5% for Lock and 3% for Daniel Jones. I think Jones is a better quarterback. He's accomplished more in this league. But Lock is coming, and he's going to try to win that job this summer. That's why he signed with the New York Giants. So I want you to pick a starting quarterback for me down in the comment section. Would you rather have Daniel or Drew as your QB? Let me know down in the comment section. To the running back position, the Giants lost Saquon Barkley here. They go out and sign Devin Singletary on the first day of free agency. And then in round 5 of the 2024 NFL Draft, they select the running back, former wide receiver out of Purdue, Tyrone Tracy. And I'm expecting Tracy to be a guy that gets snaps very on in his New York Giants career. But that makes me wonder, what does that mean for Eric Gray, who you just selected in the 2023 draft out of Oklahoma in round 5? Didn't play all that much this past year. Saquon Barkley was the guy that got the workload there. But will Gray be the guy that's really this second team's back? Or will that be Tyrone Tracy behind Devin Singletary? I want to see Gray get its crack at it. But I also want to see Tyrone Tracy be a part of this offense. Extremely explosive player. At the wide receiver position, I'm going to put Malik Neighbors as the wide receiver 1, and I think he deserves to be there after the Giants using a number 6 overall pick on him. You still have Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson, You brought back Isaiah Hodgins. You're going to have Bryce Ford Wheaton again, the UDFA from 2023. Gunnar Olszewski will return your punts. You signed Isaiah McKenzie early on in free agency. You got Boykin Koda as well as Houston. We all know the Giants wide receiver last year, their group overall, did not produce, and that was shown in the stat sheet. And that's why you're hoping, and that's really why you went out and selected a guy like Malik Neighbors to come in and bring some juice to this position group, be a wide receiver one, something the New York Giants have not had in a long, long time. I'm expecting Neighbors to have a really big year, and I think we may see some snaps cut in half for maybe a guy like Darius Slayton and more snaps for Robinson and Hyatt, and maybe Hodgins could be looking on the outside in. I think Neighbors is going to be great. How great do you think he will be? Let's set the over-under at 5.5 touchdowns for his rookie season. Will he have over or will he go under? Type O for over, type U for under on 5.5 touchdowns for Malik Neighbors in his rookie season. I loved the pick of Theo Johnson by the New York Giants, the very athletic tight end out of Penn State. He is one of the most athletic tight ends to come into the NFL. We graded out like a 99% percentile athlete at the combine, and with the question mark around Darren Waller and his future for this football team, they had to go and make it a priority. They signed Chris Manhertz. They signed Jack Stoll. So you have some blockers there, but I could see Bellinger and Theo Johnson being the 1-2 punch for this offense. If the Giants are able to cut Darren Waller before he retires, really it's the same numbers for pre-June 1st cut and retirement for Waller. You save 6.7 if he retires or if you cut him, and you have a dead cap hit around 7.3. But maybe the Giants can make Darren Waller a post-June 1st cut, and the Giants could then use this $11.6 million in cap savings to sign their entire rookie draft class and allow them to use the cap space they have now to either A, roll it over into 2025, or go out and sign maybe a veteran boundary corner, which is something I think this team really needs. The offensive line had a little bit of a makeover this offseason. They go out and sign John Runyon in free agency, as well as Jermaine Illuminor. They signed Stinney. They signed Schlottman. So 4 big-time moves by the Giants in free agency after giving up a whopping 85 sacks last year, the second most in NFL history. And the thing that's crazy is if Evan Neal just plays to what people thought the floor for him was going to be when he entered the National Football League, the Giants could go from being a middle-of-the-pack offense to someone that I think could be maybe in the top 10 of offensive production. If you have elite production from Evan Neal at right tackle with left tackle Andrew Thomas, you're going to have some time to throw. And you got some playmakers out now on the outside. There is no player that can swing the arrow from really just the success of this team. No one will swing it more than Evan Neal this year. If he plays to what he should be able to play to, the Giants will benefit from that, and as will he, because if he doesn't, he might just be benched for Illuminor maybe as soon as week 3 or week 4. We'll get to the defense around the corner, but I got to give a huge shout-out to Malik Neighbors, and we are selling his jersey, and you can get it today. Go to chatsports.com/neighbors. That is chatsports.com/neighbors, and get a brand new Malik Neighbors Giants jersey. He's not wearing number 1. That's just what they put on the rookie jerseys until they choose a number. He has not done so. Once he does, it'll be put on the jersey and shipped out to you if you buy it today. All right, let's talk about the defensive tackle position, really the interior defensive line for the Giants. As we know, Dexter Lawrence is the main guy there. I'm going to put Raheem Nunez-Roches as that starting D tackle. I almost put Phillips there, the player they signed from the Buffalo Bills, but I'm going to go with Nacho as that starting defensive tackle. And then you got guys I really like DJ Davidson and Ryder Anderson. But I'm really going to be focusing on Jordan Riley in the preseason and going into the regular season. In the limited action that he saw last year, I thought that I saw a player that could really start to become someone that was a big rotational piece of a defensive line. I see the tools, I see the technique, and there's just something about him that I believe in him. I think Riley is going to have a big year this year for the New York Giants. You talk about the edge rushers for the Giants. They go out and trade for Brian Burns. It was the big move they made this offseason, trading that number 39 overall pick to the Carolina Panthers, and you pair him with Kayvon Thibodeau. And you still got guys like Azeez Ojulari and Boogie Basham and Benton Whitley and Tom and Fox. But Brian Burns was the major move that you made this offseason. You mortgaged a little bit of the future. You gave up a second-round pick, and you gave him $150 million. You need him to be special for you this year. And You don't even do anything that he hasn't already done because he's been special throughout his career. Had 8 sacks last year, and I think coming to a team where he has Dexter Lawrence next to him and Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side, he's going to see different blocking schemes he hasn't seen, and I think he'll take advantage of that and be a big-time player this year. I'm also keeping my eyes on Azeez Ojulari. I know there's a lot of people that are ready to just write him off because he hasn't played all that much, just 35 games played in 3 seasons. But the production, I think, is there, and I think it shows. He has 16 sacks, 27 QB hits, 86 pressures in 35 games played. He has a 10.2% pressure rate per rush. So when he goes through 100 pass rush sets, he gets pressures on 10 of them. In comparison, Kayvon Thibodeau, he just gets 9 pressures per 100 snaps of the pass rushing spot. So I'm going to still believe in Azeez Ojulari, but he's got to be available. He's got to be healthy. The interior linebackers now, talking about Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden, some of your off-ball linebackers there. You brought back Isaiah Simmons. You re-signed Carter Coughlin. You go out and draft Darius Musow, the 6th-round linebacker from UCLA, and Matthew Adams in free agency to be a special teams player. Bobby Okereke was awesome last year for the Giants. And Micah McFadden also had some really good moments. And he totaled a lot of tackles last year, 101 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 4 fumbles recovered, but he also had a really high missed tackle percentage. And if he could just clean that up, he can be one of the leading tacklers in the National Football League. I like his sideline-to-sideline skills. I think he's got a good set of eyes on him when it comes to diagnosing and seeing a play happen before it happens. I like the way he plays. Just clean up the missed tackles, and McFadden could have another big year. The cornerback position is one of the bigger question marks for me. I really like Deonte Banks. I think he had a good rookie year. I think he's going to be better in year 2. But that second corner, that second boundary corner is a major question mark for me. I don't know if I believe in Nick McLeod being a down-in, down-out boundary corner. I might like him more as that slot guy, as that safety rolled into the box and a special team specialist. Cordell Flott hasn't shown me yet that he could be a boundary corner every single down. And I think those two guys are going to compete for that position, and the loser of that job will slide in the slot, and there'll be a rotation there with that player, Andrew Phillips, who you selected in round 3, and maybe even Darnay Holmes. Who do you think, though, wins the CB2 job? Who's going to be on the opposite side of the numbers as Deonte Banks? Will it be Cordell Flott, the 3rd-round pick from LSU, or will it be Nick McLeod, the guy that's had a really good career with the Giants and had a pretty decent career with the Buffalo Bills? I want to hear from you down in the comment section. The safety position got a little bit of a makeover as well. No more Xavier McKinney. He is out, and Tyler Nubin is in. You picked him, number 47 overall in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. You still have Jervarius Owens as well, who was the UDF or the 7th-round pick in 2023 at a U of H. And you signed Jalen Mills, the veteran safety, played for the Eagles, the Patriots last year. He's coming over as well. I really am bullish on Dane Belt. It seems like whenever he's on the field, he finds the football. He's always around the ball. In 32 games played, he has 4 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, and that's just in 685 defensive snaps. 46 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, has 3 fumble recoveries. The guy is always around the ball, and he's always making plays. I hope he gets a fair shot this year because I believe in the talent that he has. In the special teamers, shout out to my guy Sketch, Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen, and Casey Kreider. Those are going to be your special team specialists this year for the New York Giants. So we have gone through every single player on this roster, every single position on this roster. We're done with free agency pretty much. We're done with the NFL draft. This is most likely going to be the team. So grade the roster for me, A, B, C, D, or F. And make sure you are following me over on social media. My boss, James Yoder, told me my Instagram sucks and I need to get more followers. So help me tell my boss that I don't suck at my job. Give me a follow. Let's go Big Blue.